All right, so home prices today, home market crashing. There's so much doom and gloom. We're gonna react to some of these videos I found on social media, and then just give our analysis based on where we're at as far as the real estate market in DFW. So yeah, let's begin. My name's Trevon. I work with Century 21. Mike Bowman.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but we are not in a 2020, 2021 housing market anymore. If you put your house on the market today for what it's worth, you're doing yourself a disservice. Trust me, I have learned the hard way over the last year and a half to not list a house for what it's worth. I put a house on the market back in February. I listed it at $375,000. We had an appraisal done that came back at $380,000, so it was worth the asking price all day long. Problem was, buyers didn't see it as a good deal. We sat on the market for months and ended up having to drop the price so low that me and the seller basically walked away with nothing.
It's happening, right? You're seeing a lot of expired and canceled listings and sellers walking away with nothing, and then the real estate agent who's trying to help them is walking away with nothing. And you know, that's due to multiple factors, but let's see what else she has to say.
But I learned my lesson. I listed a house this past Friday. As I was running my comps, I realized that there is a house for sale on the same street, a couple doors up. This house is pretty comparable to the one I'm about to list. And that house is listed for $780,000. It's been on the market over 30 days. So I knew I didn't want to go anywhere near $780,000. But my seller also wanted to close it quick. So I priced it aggressive. We went on the market Friday night for $719,000.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you do. If you are someone who you do have a time frame as far as selling, you want to be aggressive, and that's not like aggressive to the entire market, but mainly aggressive to where you're at location wise and your competition, because the homes surrounding your home that are for sale, and if they're comparable, is your direct competition. So in this instance, people are probably going to the house that's listed at 780, seeing this house at 719, they're like, what the heck, why is it listed at this? And if it's comparable, you know, you're most likely going to get a lot of attention.
Within 48 hours, we had 15 showings and 5 offers. We ended up accepting an offer yesterday for $765,000 cash. My seller got $46,000 over asking price. Here's what I know. Buyers are out there. They just want a good deal. And you listing the house for what it's worth isn't a good deal to them. If you're getting ready to put your house on the market, just remember, the price that you go on the market for is just a suggestion. That doesn't mean that that's what you're going to get for it. Price aggressive and let the buyers work the price up themselves.
She does have a fair point. Now, I will say, you know, you definitely don't want to list it undervalue, but you want to be competitive in that. So I totally understand where she's coming from, and she's spot on. Because if you go overpriced, people will overlook your home. There are tons of buyers in this market that are, I mean, even if your house is listed for 4 or 5 days, they're sending in offers under asking for a few concessions. And depending on where you're located, that could be a good deal, because it's like, would you rather take, like, let's say you're listed at 450, would you rather take, you know, 425 now, or would you rather take 415, you know, 4 to 5 months from now? So it always depends on the location, of course, what your home looks like and the condition, and then the buyer pool, right? So in this instance, that's what you do, right? If you are in a situation where you have direct competition in your area, you want to be competitive to them, right? I'm not saying you go way under them, but you want to give the buyer pool a reason to go to your house and maybe say, this house here is worth 800, or let's do a lower number. This house here is listed for 350. This one's listed for 300. They're pretty comparable. And they might just go for the home that's the lower price point, just because it might have more flexibility for them as far as the changes they plan to make in the future, you know, if the home is updated to that degree. Before you list your home, you always want to get comps, know the price, know what you want to net, and try to build a game plan to get that goal. I know I've worked with sellers who do not care to sell. They just want to be at a price. And that's not the best as far as being an agent, depending on the market. But, you know, I've also worked with clients who are like, no, I want my home sold ASAP. Please just list it where it's competitive and typically when you are listing your home to be competitive, you're going to get more than your asking price. Now, of course, there's going to be some situations where you don't, but in most cases, the more eyes, the better. All right, now we got this guy. He has a decent point.
I think the housing market is about to burst. I'm seeing it way too much right now. I'm seeing way too many people who are just stuck. So there's two positions that are making people be stuck. Either A, they're on the low interest rate side where they got a 2.2% rate and now they're stuck. They can't sell their house. They don't want to cash out refi. They're letting their credit cards max out, but they don't want to touch their rate through a refinance to do a debt consolidation. So they're scrambling to try to figure out how to get money, but they're so married to that rate. In typical
Yeah, and I can see how people do feel trapped, especially if you are someone who has a rate under 3. Why would you sell? To pay most likely double. Now, yeah, there are some who bought a really solid home, so they've gained equity and then some. So they are in a position where they can sell, buy home cash, but that's not everyone, right? So it is a tough situation, and yeah, you never want to get to the point where your home is the bank.
or cash out refi, paid off all their debt, and then had a fresh start. But what's crazy and is like making me absolutely nervous is the people who bought in 2022 and 2023 who are calling me to get cash out because people use their house as ATMs and now they can't. They can't use their house as an ATM because the house prices have been stagnant and marketplaces like Florida, Dallas. I actually was going to buy a house in Dallas and I pulled back.
Should have called me,
I
bro.
started to see house prices dip. And when house prices dip, it dips fast, guys. It's like going downstairs versus going upstairs, right? Once you go down a stair, it goes quick, especially once the momentum starts. If the feds don't cut rates, and there's an announcement this Wednesday when the feds are going to review and try to figure out whether they cut rates on Wednesday or September 18th, I fucking firmly believe that there's going to be a housing bubble that absolutely burst. And the people who have bought houses in 22 and 23 and even this year are probably at high risk of losing their houses.
And you've heard this. You've heard situations of foreclosures, people that can't afford their current rate that they're paying because typically property taxes go up, home insurance goes up through the time that through the time you're living at your home. So what you started out paying, what your mortgage is starting out typically is going to be higher. I'm sure you can refinance later on. There's other ways to get it down, but typically things go up. So yes, people can get in trouble, but yeah, you don't want to get in a situation where your home is the bank, because if you're relying to do cash out refinances, depending on the situation, it might not work in your favor. So hopefully there's not a lot of people stuck in this situation, but interest rates have dropped. So luckily for this gentleman in this video, he was spot on. They end up cutting, and hopefully that will bring some relief. Of course, home prices in the DFW Metroplex, I personally don't really see them going much lower. Of course, there are situations where homes are sitting a lot longer, right? And if it is a home that is needing some TLC, or it's old or not in the best condition, people are not going to want to overbid. But I'm telling you, I've seen plenty of situations already, multiple offers, new homes, old homes, some are going quick. If it's a quality home, great location, and in great condition, typically you're going to get what they're asking, or you're going to get a little over. It just depends on the situation. So yeah, overall, I would say that the DFW Metroplex is really, really in a solid position compared to like Austin, San Antonio. But San Antonio's got a lot of opportunity there. You can get a cheap home. I mean, not cheap home. You can get a decent home for an affordable price. Now, if you want to live in San Antonio, that's another topic, right? And this is where we'll move to, I think, what will be happening a lot more, especially in these areas where there's land for sale at an affordable price. And I mean, you can get you a nice acre for 30, 40K and throw you one of these bad boys on here. I mean, check it out. You got a deck. Does it say the square footage on this thing? Look at that. Got fireplaces, nice kitchen, great lighting. And most people would try to tell you, oh, this is lame, but man, get you this on a couple acres. I don't know how long these are supposed to last, but would you live in this? This is pretty cool. Okay, I don't care for the sliding doors, but it is what it is. As far as the cost for this, decent bathroom. Oh, it's 2-story with a little loft. Yeah, that was super cool. And I would definitely, now, would I buy one of those and put it on land? Not too sure, but that if someone is looking for an affordable way to own some land in a home, that really is one, especially if you're not someone that, is too specific. Now, as far as resale value, whole nother conversation, but that is something that you consider, before you buy the home. Typically, of course, you really just want to find a home that you love in an area that you love, but depends on your goals really overall. And then I just thought this one was funny.
Can all of y'all that are moving to Texas and buying these houses way over asking cash, please fucking stop? We don't want you. We don't want you here. There's 50 states. Pick a different one. Please.
As a realtor in the area, I do not mind. But you are seeing some areas, in some areas it is becoming very high priced, especially, Frisco, in those areas, North Dallas, depending on where you're looking. But a lot of great opportunities all around the DFW Metroplex. All around the DFW Metroplex. Now, yes, some of these areas are not the best areas to live in, but it's still an opportunity for you to buy a home. And just reach out if you have questions or you're interested in moving to the area. Don't hesitate to give me a call. My contact information will be down in the description. And the last video we're going to watch today is going to be about the Fort Worth housing inventory. It may not be the best for buyers.
If you're looking to buy a home in Fort Worth, the latest housing report indicates that inventory is the highest it's been in more than a decade. But as NBC5's Tahara Rahman reports, even though there are more options, there are also some caveats.
It's wonderful.
Standing in front of the home they fell in love with 10 years ago, Tony and Susan Fertitta say it's time to start their next chapter.
We decided after COVID that we were going to start looking at downsizing and moving closer to the kids and the grandkids.
Okay, perfect. Adding their home to Fort Worth's inventory. The Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors says in May, housing stock climbed to 3.2 months. That's the time it would take for all supply to sell out. And that's the highest it's been in more than a decade.
There's obviously going to be more reasons than just the interest rate, but it's also the, 2020 really set things back. A lot of things got pushed back and things were not done and completed. So now we're finally starting to catch up. You're starting to see new builds really fill in, more homes hit the market just because more people are more comfortable selling at this point in their lives. But you also are hitting that situation where, for instance, let's say you bought a home 2018, purchase price was $300,000, your interest rate was under 3%, you're probably paying around, give or take, I don't know, $1,700 to $1,900 a month. You bought a home in the last year at $300,000, you're paying $2,700 a month. So if you're someone who's paying that $1,800 a month, do you want to sell your home, or do you want to move and pay double the rent or more in rent, especially if you're buying, right? So it is a tough one, and it does have people so-called trapped, but it does have people stuck in their positions and maybe holding off on their next purchase, especially if it's not a home or an area, or if they don't have to move. I would also say, if you are someone in this position, maybe it is not the right idea to sell your home but rent it out. I know some people don't like to be landlords, but there are a lot of instances where people I know, their mortgages are half of what the mortgage would be now. And then especially when you're looking at the rental comps in some of these areas, you can rent the homes out for, I don't know, $2,800 to $2,800 and up, but they're still paying, $1,800 to $2,000 a month. So that's an $800 gap there, and it really is more in some situations. So definitely decent rental income for some houses, not all, but this could be something, of course, to consider instead of just selling the home outright.
Maybe families have been in their smaller home through COVID, but they've had more children. They just need more space.
Elizabeth McCoy, a realtor of 22 years, says while buyers have more choices, you won't necessarily find more affordable choices.
The higher interest rates coupled with increasing prices gives us some areas that are not very affordable.
She says overpriced homes and homes in the outer areas of the Metroplex are slower to go, but buyers may still face some competition.
When there are homes that are priced right, that are in really great move-in condition, we are starting to see some multiple offers coming back on those properties. Are you going to miss your pool?
Something the Fertitas had kept their eyes on.
We had kept an eye on the market quite a bit, as I think most people have, where the values have gone up significantly.
Their home sold in less than a week. They credit their realtor for helping them close the door on this path as they now become buyers in another market.
Yeah, and you're really seeing that across the board. There's still plenty of opportunity out there, depending on what side of the coin you're on and depending on where you're moving, right? I know I have clients that have fat equity in their homes. They were ready to sell and buy their home in the country or buy their condominium cash. And then, of course, there are situations where sellers who bought in 2023, 2022, who paid over, way over asking, way over necessary, and maybe they have to relocate now, or maybe they have to move now, and they're finding out that they're breaking even or losing money to a degree. So it can be a tough decision. This is why whenever you are going to buy, ask as many questions as you can, right? That's the best way you're going to be informed. If you found this video helpful at all, if you enjoyed this type of content, leave a like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Are you planning on buying? Are you planning on waiting? How do you feel about these recent interest rate cuts? And then if you are buying, what city are you buying in, right? Fort Worth, Dallas, Frisco. Every neighborhood is going to be different. That's why you really want to get yourself a professional to really set yourself up to really execute your goals as far as real estate. But yeah, my name's Trevon. I work with Century 21 Mike Bowman, and I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, later.